everyone. Today we're going to be reviewing the latest book from Maria Trolle, or should I say one of the latest books, because two of them seem to come out all at once. We've got this one, which is Swedish for seasons, and then we've got the Christmas book, which is all the colours of Christmas. So I'll review this on another video, but we'll stick with this one for this video. This is, of course, the seasons book. Maria Trolle's books are always really well produced. They are really nice, almost linen feeling covers with the gold foiling. I love the colour palette that we get on a Maria Trolle book. And this is what the back looks like, showing you all of her previous books, including that new Christmas one. I think it's beautiful. So we'll have a look inside, because I'm sure that's what you're all excited to see. This one, before we even get into it, I think is going to be my favourite Maria Trolle book. It's the seasons book, so we're going to go through spring, summer, autumn, winter, and there's loads of like Halloweeny bits and seasonal kind of autumn pumpkin kind of pages and stuff like that, so that's why it's probably going to be my favourite. But I do love a book that incorporates all the seasons, because it means that I can go to it at pretty much any time of year if I want to colour something festive or seasonal, and it will have something that I'm in the mood to colour. So there's a cute little, I don't know, is it an elf, is it a person? Carrying a little strawberry on his back. And then we've got Maria's sort of introduction. Now I have translated this, so I'll try and do it as best the translation app has translated it. So it says, when you live in the countryside, the seasonal changes become clear. In spring, everything comes back to life, which feels like an annual miracle every time. The light returns, the birds start singing, and flowers sprout from the seemingly frozen ground. Drunk from sleep, we are abruptly awakened from our winter slumber to see dirty windows, a messy garden, and our own pale winter face. But when the trees turn bright green and it's suddenly possible to sit outside with just a sweater on, the harsh awakening is soon forgotten and forgiven. Summer is always long awaited. For a few months, we get to enjoy the bright nights, abundance, and fellowship with loved ones. At the end of August, when the evenings get darker and the pace slows down, I feel soft and warm from vacation, sun, and salty baths. Sometimes autumn comes suddenly, with harsh, frosty nights that mercilessly suck the colours out of the garden's flowers too early. The leaves fall, and nature prepares for rest. With winter comes darkness and silence. I crawl onto the sofa, light a candle, and start a fire in the wood-burning stove. When the garden and life become silent under a soft blanket of snow, the desire to create finds room to bloom. Outside, nature gathers strength to start again. I just absolutely love the way that Maria writes. It's such a cosy kind of, it just really gives you that lovely cosy warm feeling, the way that she describes the seasons. And yeah, it's beautiful. So we'll get straight into the illustrations now. That's the main attraction. So obviously we're starting with spring and we're going through them that way. So we've got little flowers just opening up, you know, after winter. We've got a few remnants of snow, because obviously, mainly in the UK, we get our snow in January, February. So it's always at the beginning of the calendar year, but the end of the winter, do you know what I mean? So I guess you would still see snow as you maybe coming into spring. Then we've got, of course, a bird in a bird's nest in the tree. You always start to hear the birds again in spring. And everything, like Maria said, always just comes to life. That's why I love spring. It's like you've been through the long, hard winter. And, you know, when you start seeing things, you know, flowers bloom and it gets just that little bit warmer, you can get out a little bit more and you don't feel so hibernated. And, you know, it's a lovely time of year. So I've got a little house with trees and plants and things, watering can, getting ready to water all of the new spring flowers. This is a cute little nighttime scene. So we've got a witch sort of riding her broom with a little teapot on the end and her cat. Yeah, really cute. I love, you know, the variety in this book, because you've got scenes that take up most of the page, and then you've got these enclosed scenes as well, which are some of my favourites. Got a circular scene here of, I guess, just like a valley with a home in the middle, a little stream running through, some geese flying. I guess, do geese come back in spring? Probably. And a little deer. And we've got a tiny little house with all these big flowers growing. So we've still got that fantasy theme that Maria loves to dabble in. A little bit of whimsy. We've got a hen and her 2 chicks, and of course some spring tulips as well. And then we've got one of the chicks hatching a little bit early. He's looking up at the ladybird, never having seen one before, just curious about everything the world has to offer. So we've got our Easter eggs painted and hung from tree branches. You do sometimes see these in like national parks and things. People come and hang different decorations that they've made and painted, maybe with their kids, and hang them on the branches of the trees. And here's a basket full of Easter eggs as well. So we're going on that Easter egg treasure hunt. Of course, we've got to have a bunny rabbit in Easter. You can see there's some hidden eggs, some hidden treasure all the way around this circular frame. And of course, we've got the big spring sun coming out. Here's that girl again from earlier with her cat. Excuse me. She's still got her broom. She's got a little polka dot headscarf on, and she's walking through the woodland. And then she's off on her travels again, this time in the daytime, with the cock crowing and the little scene set into an Easter egg shape. Here's the little bunny rabbit again, just keeping watch over his treasures. And then we have this sort of farmer's market little stall. We've got tulips and daffodils, and I guess she's selling some eggs as well, and some homemade jams and preserves. Here we've got a watering can. Let me just figure this one out because, oh yeah, so the watering can handle goes all the way around like this. It's not like a standard watering can. I was a bit confused then. We've got a cute little guy sitting on top of the handle with a ladybird. So a lot of the times you will see repeats of the characters in the book, and that's quite nice because it gives it a storybook feel. And then we have this little enclosed scene of a fox just watching all the leaves start blowing down from the trees. I guess this still happens in spring, you know, where there's still those bits of loose leaves, but yeah, that's a nice one. You've got the water in the background, and you can either have the moon or the sun. And then we've got a side-facing portrait, so just a little profile with some cherry blossoms. You can imagine this done with obviously pinks and sakura colours. Yeah, really, really nice. This is a cute little scene of a cat asleep in the sun on a little patio table, little bistro table with lots of sort of greenery in the background. And we've got another little enclosed house scene. This time we've got a horse, but it kind of looks a bit unicornish. Maybe you could make it a unicorn, but yeah, I think it is just a normal horse, just sort of plodding around the paddock, and the sun setting with the birds flying off into the sunset. This is nice. So we've got the girl riding a bike this time. She's got her little doggy in the back basket, and we've got lots of flowers and things growing in the fields. These kind of rows of, are they vegetables? Are they flowers? You could sort of colour them however you wanted to do it. And here she is a little bit closer up, further down her journey with the sea in the background. She's got loads of flowers in the basket now she's collected, and the little pups down here between her feet on the moped. Is it a moped? I think so. So we have, this is kind of like an apartment sort of style, a townhouse. What do they call these things? Just a very small kind of house with lots of leaves of what I would say would be ivy, but I don't think they're quite the right shape, sort of growing up the side of the building. And she's parked her bike outside. So she's going to have to plant all the flowers that she's collected now, maybe put them in a vase or something, and sit on top of the roof terrace there, catching some rays. Here she is watering the flowers on her little window box. And then we've got another girl. She has a little ice cream stand set up. You can have chocolate, raspberry or strawberry, or what flavours would you colour them? What's your favourite ice cream sauce flavour? So she's got some ice cream set up here ready to go, and her cart is one of those that you can just lift up like a wheelbarrow and wheel it away. We've also got a little cat licking his paws here. I'm thinking he's been into the ice cream vat. What do you think? And here's one a little bit closer up and more detailed for you to colour. So obviously we're coming through into summer now, and we have another home here with a little bistro table outside. We've got some plants sort of in raised beds, flowers. This one's a little bit cracked and looking like it maybe might need a little bit of TLC, this house. A lot of these things you could turn into Halloween things, by the way. Like, I could see this being turned into a Halloween haunted house with, you know, dead flowers in the tree. If you've got the imagination and the skill, like, just go for it. I'd love to see that. Then we've got the little strawberry plants growing, and here he is from the very front of the book, carrying a strawberry home to the family. This one's lovely. So it's got that sort of May Day feel about it. I don't know whether we've come into summer yet, or it's kind of that spring summer cut-off point. And we've got the May Day maypole kind of looking thing. I don't know. It's obviously something to do with the marina as well. You know, I can see that because we've got all the sea behind, and it's got that look of something that you would find that's quite nautical. And here is a girl with a gorgeous flower crown, and her hair actually turns into the waves of the sea. You can see we've got some ships on those tumultuous waves. Here we've got a little cute scene with a little pixie, cute little pixie here, and she's picking some flowers. We've got some bats in the background as well. I very often see bats at night, very, very quick flashes of them. I don't see them kind of for long, but it's just, you just see something kind of flash, something black in the sky, and you know it's a bat. Usually see them around dusk. Then we've got a little bunch of flowers. Got some little bluebell type of flowers, I think. Maybe a poppy. I don't know, you know, I'm rubbish with flowers. We've got a jar full of fireflies. So someone's collecting the fireflies. I guess these three have come to try and break them out of their glass prison. There is a big crack on it, so it's going to happen. Then we've got the girl with the flower crown having a bit of a skinny dip, I think. So we've got the moon. We know it's a nighttime scene. I think she's just going for a little dip in the moonlight. And we've got this cute sort of, would you say this is a bit like a fawn creature that's sat there watching? It's a bit freaky, actually. It's that kind of just voyeuristically sat there watching. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain. I watch too many horror films. And then we've got, this is definitely summer now. So she's floating on the lilo in the water, having a great old time, lovely relax in the sun. We've got a little mermaid underneath and some fishies. Then at the bottom of the sea, we've got those mermaids again, but now we're right at the bottom, we're right on the seabed. We've got a skull, quite freaky human skull, just embedded into the seabed there, and obviously all of the seaweed and things. Then we have a little fox in the sunset, again watching those leaves fall from the trees. We've had that before. I think it was the bunny rabbit watching the leaves fall. So there's a couple of themes that are sort of repeated a little bit over the book. Then we've got this little house nestled in a gorgeous valley. Look how huge these are. It reminds me of Winnett's Pass, which is not too far from where I live. And you drive down the road, and the mountain, the big hills, not mountains, they're like big green hills, are so high around the road. It's absolutely unreal. Like, just to look at, you know, as you're driving down, you're really down deep into these huge valleys. So yeah, that's what that reminds me of. We've got a little mountain goat here as well. Then I believe we're getting into autumn now, because look, she's going through the forest with her basket, foraging for mushrooms. This would be a night scene, I think. I'm getting night vibes. And then here are some of those mushrooms growing. We've got a little guy or a little girl with a sword, a tiny sword, and a frog. I'm not sure if that's meant to symbolise something, maybe in Swedish folklore. I'm not sure. Then we've got another house, which again would definitely make a good haunted house, because we've got the pumpkins outside, we've got the broom. You know, it has that sort of jaunty look that it might be a haunted house. A little cat on the top of the roof there. And some shelves from inside. This is where it gets into my favourite bit of the book. Bit creepy, bit spooky, but all quite nice. You know, there's nothing scary or gory in this book. So we've got the shelves with crystals and potions. We have a witch's or wizard's hat and some scary looking snapping plants. And then we've got the kitchen, which of course has a pumpkin. and the rest of the root vegetables from that kind of harvest season. We've got a jar of 4-leaf clovers for luck. Maybe she's making some Felix Felicis, I don't know. And then we've got a couple of rats as well. So this obviously is a nighttime scene. The rats are sort of taking over the kitchen and they're seeing what they can get their hands on. Wouldn't leave all that food out if you've got rats. That's not a great idea. Then we've got a close-up of one of those snapping plants. And she's coming along with a potion. She looks quite scared because he looks quite scary. But she's coming along with a potion. And I think that's probably what's happened. She's poured the potion into the little flower pot and now she's grown a huge triffid. And even the cat looks scared. Love it. This is a great one. Again, enclosed in a square border. We've got a monster in a bottle, warning, do not open. Now, he looks quite harmless, but I'm thinking maybe that's the trick. You know, if you open it, maybe he will turn into something a bit more scary. Potion bottles and spider webs. Then we've got a bit of a close-up of a shelf with the magic spell books, the crystals, and we've even got a tiny mermaid in a bottle with a ship. That's unusual. Check this out, right? Buddy is behind me and he's eating the little picture of me that my son drew a while ago. Buddy, what are you doing? Look at that. Where that dog's got a death wish. He does everything to scare me to death. He's always eating things he shouldn't be eating and getting into things. It'd be so much easier, I think, to have a toddler than it is to have a puppy. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, we've got the little mermaid with the boat. Really cute, sort of encapsulated into this little microcosm, I guess. Then we've got a little house again with huge trees. I don't know what kind of trees these are. They look kind of like birch looking tree trunks, but I don't know what. Birches wouldn't have these, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not real. We've got these weird little kind of eel-like ghosts floating between the trees. That's a really kind of spooky one. This one's cute. So we've got a little pumpkin that's grown up from the ground. He's grown his own arms and legs out of his stalk. We've got the cute ghosts with their trick or treat baskets. We've got another cute little pumpkin down here, and we've got that little monster. I think that's the same monster from the jar, and they've all kind of escaped and come to life on Halloween. And then here we are again with the little cart. Well, it's not even a cart, is it? This is a proper set up stall. And this time she's selling pumpkins, lotions and potions. So this again will be really nice to colour this Halloween. You've got the little ghost bunting as well and some leaves sort of falling down. I love when I used to take the kids out trick-or-treating and all the leaves would be on the ground and the crunch. And it was just, it's such a like a core visceral memory, you know, of walking around the streets as it's getting dark with the kids and the leaves crunching. The kind of bite to the air because it was getting colder. Anyway... yeah, so here's just a few candles. You can obviously practice your light sources here. We've got a little pumpkin man, so he's got a little pumpkin costume on, and the girl's got a ghost costume, and we have some carved pumpkins as well. And then here's the inside of a pumpkin, so it's like a cross section and someone's made a little home in there. So you've got the downstairs where you've got the bed, the little oil lamp, then you go up the ladder and you have your little fire stove thing. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's a stove, Claire. You sit for something to eat, maybe grab a book out of the shelf and have a nice little read. Now, you will notice that there are a lot of sort of ink marks from the facing pages. Now, that's because I've coloured a page, but I've forgotten to go in and rub out all of the ink. It's so easy to do. You know, if you've pressed hard on a page, you're going to probably get some ink impressions, but you can rub them out really quick. It's just I've forgotten to do that. So don't think it's been misprinted or anything. That's my fault. So we've got a couple of mushroom houses here with some berries growing around. Cute little multi-person table outside. Then we've got these scary trees. Again, I should have gone through this first because it's on the faces. And you can't see it properly. So we've got like a little Red Riding Hood here. She's carrying her basket. She's walking through the woods. Look how small she looks against these huge, scary, gnarled trees. Then we have a cute little heart shape made out of fungus and fungi, whatever. And the little pixies again. This is a really cute one. Again, just ignore all of the lines because we've come to the one that I've coloured. So here she is. She is a Dia de los Muertos. Is that how you say it? A Day of the Dead Mexican sugar skull girl. And the eyes were drawn in. You might still be able to see them. I think I need another layer of white on there to get rid. But the eyes were drawn in. There wasn't so much a mask around her face. I've kind of created the edge of the makeup and then whited out the eyes. But she did have all of the, you know, bits and bobs on her face. I'll try and put a picture up if I've taken one before I started colouring, so you can see the difference. I didn't want it to be a mask that she put on her face. I wanted it to be makeup. And the way that I've made it sort of look a bit like makeup is that I've done all of the contouring around the nose, the cheeks, the chin, just to make it look like this is actual white makeup, but you can still see the outline of her features. So what I did was I decided to go with purples and oranges because they're quite festive. They've got that look of a parade, you know, like the Day of the Dead parade. Is it called Day of the Dead, isn't it? Sorry, I'm second guessing myself. So I just wanted to go with like two really contrasting colours and very party and fun and festival like. And then I was kind of looking, you know, what should I do with the background? And I thought there's no blue in this, but I think the blue would just set it off. So I decided to do a little blue. I don't know whether you'd call this a bokeh effect. I think that's a little bit softer. This is just like a little sort of blue lights effect. I don't think it's got as much blur as bokeh would. I think that's how you say it, bokeh. But I have done a tutorial for this like years ago, these little sort of lights in the sky. And yeah, I really enjoyed colouring it. I'm not, you know, super pleased with the skin because I'm not very good at, you know, darker skin tones and things. I can do sort of one skin tone really well, but I can't, I struggle with other ones. So I've tried my best anyway, and I really enjoyed colouring it. I think it's turned out quite nicely. So yeah, hope you like it. Okay, so next up we've got these little death head moths, which are nestled into the flowers. This would make a gorgeous tattoo. I sometimes wish that I'd had a death's head moth instead of this butterfly. Maybe I should get one on the other side. No, I can't, can I? I've got Rosie's paw. Anyway, actually, it reminds me of Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter, but I've already got him on my arm, so. Anyway, Claire, stop waffling. We've got some kids going trick-or-treating in their lovely little costumes. So we've got a fairy, we've got a witch or a wizard, and then we have a dinosaur. Very sweet. We've got the lamplight shining down on them. You could do something funky with that. And then we have all of the treats that they've collected. So loads and loads of sweets and munches, and some little ghosts looking like they want to get their transparent hands on them. And then we have an owl, and the girl is riding the owl. He's got a little scroll message that he's delivering. This is very kind of Harry Potter Hedwig sort of owl, isn't it? And then we've got a little sort of circular motif with a snowy house. We've moved into winter now. We've come away from Halloween. We're going into the cold, crisp winter. Now here is a castle on a hill. So I guess, I mean, this could still be Halloween, right? You could definitely do this for Halloween. We've got the Northern Lights outline in the background. That'll be really helpful for if you want to do my Northern Lights tutorial, which I've got on the channel somewhere. And yeah, so you've got this creepy kind of castle that's all nestled into this piece of rock. It looks like any more erosion and that castle's going in the drink. So then we've definitely got winter, because look, she's blowing icicles. It's very frozen. You've got that kind of ice queen. Yeah, lovely. It's just, you get so much bang for your buck in these books. You know, there's so much to colour and so many different ideas within the book. Love this. So they're going for a little ice skate on the pond with a squirrel and mouse just watching on, and the little Christmas trees in the background. You could do some multicoloured Christmas lights just glowing down. That's gorgeous. I love how she's created the top of the circle with the trees going into each other. And then we have a wreath with candles. So this is a fairly simple one. If you just want to do a little bit of light source, something that's not going to take too long to colour, you've got something like that here. Then we've got another house. This one is covered in snow. We've got a Christmas wreath. We've got the snow skis outside and a little sled. Again, Christmas lights in the trees and the smoke blowing up from the chimney. You can imagine it being so warm, that crackling fire as you walk in. Grab a blanket, you know, listen, read a book, listen to ghost stories or whatever it is you want to do. I get visions of things when I see these illustrations. Then we have a little bare-boned tree, but it's got some, what I believe are apples, ready to drop. There's one that's already dropped and the bunny's like, that's my tea, that's mine, I'm having it. And then we've got... I've had to bring Buddy with me, hi, because he's barking outside the blinds. He's looking through the blinds, barking at somebody walking past, literally minding their own business, Buddy. Anyway, so we've got the 3 little gift deliverers of the birds, delivering gifts, basically. Don't make it too complicated, Claire. Then we've got what is a little circular scene with a fox with a little present, and you can see that Santa has just dropped that present off with the reindeer, and you can see this swoosh that he's made with the sled as he's left the ground into the sky. Almost looks like a crescent moon as well in that way. Then we have another little skating one, but this is more of a urban skating scene. So we've got all of the skyline in the background, the stars shining down, and they've even taken the dog on the ice. I wonder what you'd think of that, bud, hey? Do you like to go ice skating? Right, shut up, Mum, I can't speak English. Right, then we've got a little girl who is sat in her window. She's got all of her books underneath. She's got a lovely warm cup of hot chocolate. She's got a little Christmas decoration hanging down, and she's just watching the snowfall with her cat. She's even got comfy socks on like I have right now. It's getting to that point where your feet are always cold in the house if you don't wear socks. So fluffy socks are a must. Then we have a little tree stump with a bit of snow on top. Somebody's made a home out of this, and he's carrying an apple, which, if you can imagine the size of an apple, this is how small he is. This is a very tiny, weeny little scene. Then we have a Christmas tree. Again, this is why he's brought the apples. So one by one, can you imagine how long that would take? He's brought the apples to decorate and festoon the Christmas tree. We've got, again, the little squirrel and the mouse that we saw earlier. You're enjoying this, bud? He's just sat watching what I'm doing. This one's gorgeous. So look, it's a little cute scene in the kitchen making cookies. You can see they spread out the dough with the rolling pin, and now they're cutting out their little cookie shapes, heart and star. Gorgeous little enclosed snapshot of a kitchen scene in winter when you've got the kids making cookies, making a complete mess, but making so many good memories. And look at this little girl outside. She's just watching on with a little tongue sticking out. She's ready for some cookies. Maybe they can put them to cool on the window, and she might just pinch a little on there. Then we've got some baubles hanging down with a cute little mouse. Again, this is another quite easy, simple, quick one that you could do. But you could do a lot with it. You can put gel pen on there, metallic paint, you know, make them look velvet. You could try a lot of different things on those baubles. We're back with the stall again, and this time she's got all the wintry stuff. So this is her kind of making her money, making her income over the year, changing the things that she's putting on the stall. So this time we've got cookies, lollipops, bags of sweets. She's got cute little Christmas trees in pots. We've got candy canes on the bunting, and yeah, it's really, really cute. Obviously, she's stood in the snow, she's freezing, but she's like, I've got to make some money. So we've got some more baubles here. These ones are kind of on the ground, and it looks as though these little bits have come off of them. I don't know whether this little mischievous girl is pulling them off or whether she's decorating them. I'll leave that to you to decide. And now this is where you practice all of your colours. So you want to practice different media, see how it lays down on the paper. You want to try different blends. You want to try different pencil types. You can do that here, and you've got a few motifs you can practice on as well. And that's the end of the book. There's the beautiful Maria Trolle. She is lovely, and she's so talented, as I'm sure you'll agree. I hope you've enjoyed this. Sorry that I'm having to do all this one-handed now. I have an armful of poodle, don't I? Naughty poodle. No, I love you. So right, if you want to buy this book, I will leave the link in the description for you to get it from. I'll see if I can find other places, not just the one link, and see wherever you are in the world, you can hopefully get your hands on it. But it is a gorgeous book. It's hardback. The paper's lovely. I always forget to talk about the paper, which is like one of the main reasons I have a channel, is to tell people what the paper's like before they buy it. It's gorgeous. It's fairly thick. It's definitely a paper. It's not a card, but it's fairly thick. It's ivory. It's kind of off-white. And as you can see, you know, it's really, really nice paper to blend on. Ignore the skin, because I did a lot with that skin. I really put the paper through its paces. You know, I did a layer and I didn't like it, so I put some blending solution on. Didn't like that, so I'm layering and layering and layering, and I've got areas that I really don't like, but that's not the paper's fault, that's mine. So yeah, anyways, waffly review over. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching. Buddy, say bye bye, bye 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 bye, and I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.